15-year-old Logan McMurran will have his day in court later this week on charges that he sexually abused 3 kindergartners at Starry Elementary School in Marion.
Court records claim the abuse happened between August and October last year when McMurran worked as an in-class volunteer. An I-9 investigation earlier this month told how the district has been tight-lipped on what happened and what it's been doing about the allegations. KCRG TV9's chief investigative reporter Josh Scheinblum explains what the district is saying now.
The Marion Independent School District says it wants to clarify its position. In the statement, it claims it can't answer questions about the case based on different confidentiality laws than the ones we'd originally discussed. Specifically, it cites 2 exemptions in Iowa's open records law, one on student records and one on personnel records. It also mentions the Federal Family Education Rights and Privacy Act, also known as FERPA. We wanted to know if those laws truly keep a school district from talking about sexual abuse allegations.
The bottom line is that FERPA was meant to protect student confidentiality, not just to be a shield against public disclosure of potentially damaging information.
Brent Pattison is a law professor at Drake University in Des Moines and has seen the I-9 investigation that uncovered details of the alleged sexual abuse in Marion's Starry Elementary. He also knows well the federal and state laws the Marion Independent School District claims prevent it from discussing the case at all with TV9.
The protections, the confidentiality protections in FERPA and the personnel provisions they discussed, I don't think they go as far as the superintendent thought to prevent disclosure of information like you were looking for.
On its website, the Department of Education says FERPA generally bans schools from giving out student records that include personally identifiable information, but it allows exceptions for the health and safety of students and specifically notes FERPA is not intended to be an obstacle in protecting the safety of students. Iowa Code 22 similarly keeps student records and personnel files out of public view. But Iowa Code and past guidance from the Iowa Attorney General's office says a records keeper, in this case the custodian, can release those records or parts of them if it's in the public's interest. When we sat down with Marion Superintendent Chris Dyer in early February, we asked him,
where was the teacher? Where was the supervision? How did this happen so many times?
Thanks very much for coming over and visiting with me today. I'd be really happy to talk to you.
How did this happen? Don't you think parents deserve an answer?
Yeah, I would be really happy to talk with you about anything that you'd like to talk about. But you have to recognize that this child is protected by Iowa law.
Do the questions that we ask prevent them from giving the information that we requested?
Well, I mean, it's possible that the superintendent couldn't answer some of your questions because he just didn't know the answers in the moment, I suppose. But from a confidentiality point of view, none of them stood out as ones that were clearly prohibited from answering by any of the statutes.
The district's statement also points out they're not legally obligated to perform background checks on volunteers. That's true, but our previous report noted the school board approved a policy back in December after these abuse allegations surfaced that it reserved the right to do those checks. We also asked Pattison about that.
Even if you decided that the district's policy to do voluntary sort of criminal background checks was good. There might be other steps the district could take to help protect kids better.
The statement from the school district also took issue with our coverage over how it dealt with parents' concerns, saying contrary to reports, they did address parental concerns at a board meeting in November with the Marion Police Department and met individually with affected parents on other occasions. Our report did reference that meeting, but the parent of one of the alleged victims told us she was still frustrated at the lack of information coming from the district. In studio, Josh Scheinblum, KCRG, TV9 News.